Hello and welcome to the Match's first podcast this season. We'll be looking at all the Preston news from around the grounds. First of all, Treve Whitford went to Peony first team against Coventry. Treve, how did the game go?
Well, to start with, it's a must-win game for Preston as the teams around them won that day as well. So to stay in the promotion chase, they've got to win the home games. They've got the best home form in the league, which they're going to hold on to because their away form's so bad. But they managed to get the 2-1 win against Coventry. They fell behind though in the first half and they started to struggle to get back into it. But in the second half, I don't know what Alan Irvine said, but they started to play brilliant football. John Parkin looked more of a threat up front, and the return of Yor Moeni was vital for them with Sean St Ledger because they looked solid all throughout the game, and it was much needed 3 points for Preston.
You mentioned John Parkin. I mean, how vital is he to their hopes of promotion?
Well, at the moment, he's the one who's getting all of the goals. In the game, sometimes he looks like he becomes a bit wanting, but he just puts himself about. And as we saw yesterday, on Saturday, his goal came from nowhere. And he was very cool and calm. He rounded the keeper and slotted it in. And for a big guy, he had a lot of pace to burn to beat these defenders.
And with promotion, I mean, is it still a realistic target?
It's realistic, but it's like Alan said after the game yesterday that he thinks that they'll still concede some points, but he thinks that the teams around them will as well. So yesterday was so important for them because they needed to win their home games because, like I've said, their away form is so bad. But maybe now they need to get some points away from home, and it's going to be tough. But as long as teams around them start to drop points, then I think they can do it.
I mean, I'm looking at their team. I mean, if they do get promoted, surely they're not good enough for the Premier League, though. Really, I mean, they'll be worse than Derby, won't they?
Well, people said that about Stoke last year. Stoke came up and they didn't play very glamorous football, but they're doing a job. I think if Preston, if they can turn Deepdale into a fortress in the Premier League, I think they've got every chance. But you see the footballing teams going up, such as West Brom, and they've struggled. But you say this unpretty state of football they play. I think it might be effective in the Premier League. It might be what they need to do.
But with John Parkin, all right, he's scoring the goals now. He's in form. In the Premier League, though, is he not just a fat boy up front? Really, I mean, surely he can't hack it. The likes of Rio Ferdinand will have him in his back pocket. No,
he's the sort of striker who will turn up. He won't set the Premier League alight, but he'll cause trouble. He will be a big trouble up front. I mean, you see players like Crouch who, okay, he's big. He's obviously not he's called Beast Parkin, and that's for a reason. But he's a handful for defenders, and defenders don't like it. He'll come up against. Yeah, like we saw on the weekend, Vidic was prone to a few errors. He won't like playing against people like Parkin because all he'll do is outmuscle him all day. And he may not get the goals, but it will certainly help out a Preston team.
Okay, so you're quite hopeful for the rest of the season then, Treve?
I think they can do it, yeah.
And automatic or just in the playoffs?
No, I think the playoffs. I think automatic. I think that they need to improve their away form. That is so woeful. I think they've only won 2 or 3 away from home. That really needs addressing. But they go into the playoffs, they've done it before, and maybe more luck this year, you never know.
Thanks, Treve. John Collins was at the game the weekend, the youth team game, and they had a comfortable win, John.
It was a comfortable win, yeah. Well, they struggled initially in the first half. Both teams, I think, really struggled with the wind. It was a really blustery day. In the first half, Preston kicked into it, and every time a goal kick was taken, it ended up back in their own half. But they really settled into the rhythm in the second half. And especially when they brought 3 players that were rested from their last game against Blackpool in the Lancashire Youth Cup. They came off the bench later in the second half, and they were comfortable in the latter half of the second half especially.
Is there anyone there that you can see maybe pushing on into the first team in the next couple of years?
Well, definitely you'd have to highlight the 3 lads that came off the bench, and like I said, they were being rested. There was Jamie Douglas, Jamie Proctor and Adam Barton, and all of them were impressive, and particularly Jamie Douglas. I mean, he came on and scored 2. He won a penalty, then took it and scored it, and scored another one as well. He was a really quick player, very skillful as well, and he would definitely be. Surely Preston would be hoping he'll be breaking the first team pretty soon. He looked very promising. And there's also Adam Barton, who I can only really compare him to Vieira. He's like a very sort of strong defensive midfielder. He's got similarities to that sort of player, and he's very dominant in midfield, and he's got a great shot on him as well. He also scored their second goal, just sort of rifled it in from the edge of the area. So definitely those 2 I pinpoint look very promising players.
I'm going to go over to Tony now, and he was at the Bamber Bridge game. Tony, I heard it was quite controversial over there on Saturday.
To be honest, it wasn't that controversial because the sending off, by the rules of the law, the defender had to go. He was last man and he brought the striker down deliberately, so the referee had little choice but to send them off. But the manager, Neil Crowe, after the game was very disappointed with his side's inability to take chances. They should have been 4 or 5-0 up by the time the penalty was conceded, and that obviously changed the game.
So what was your overall view on the game other than that?
Yeah, I thought it was an impressive performance by Bamber Bridge. Like I said, they created chance after chance, and on another day they would have won by a cricket score basically. And then slack defending when they went down to 10 men and pushing for the goal meant they conceded 3 sloppy goals, which gave Garforth a smash and grab win basically.
I mean, is that their promotion hopes dead and buried now, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, the manager's hopeful, but
I mean, he has to be hopeful really though, doesn't he? What did he say? Did he say anything after the game?
He said because the results went their way over the weekend with like the likes of Halifax losing, they've still got a chance, but basically they've got to win every game. They've already played like 5 games more than the rivals, so I can't see them getting promoted this season.
Okay, thanks Tony. And we'll finish off with a bit of rugby. And Rob Hendry was at Preston Grasshoppers on Saturday. How did that go, Rob?
Yeah, they narrowly lost. It was a 22-26 to Macclesfield, but it was a really close game. I mean, Lee Imelek for Grasshoppers was very impressive. He's on loan from Sale. He's only 18 years old and he looked superb.
And we've actually interviewed Liam Oliak on the match. So if you go onto our website, it's ukjournalism.co.uk/the match. And then subsection The Match TV, you will see an interview with Liam Oliak. It is a bit dark, but we're getting there. So he was impressive then, was he, Rob?
Yeah, he was brilliant. He scored 2 tries. Unfortunately, Marcus Jackson couldn't convert the 2 tries. If he had, then obviously it would have been a closer match. I think Macclesfield just about deserved it. Going into the last 10 minutes, Grasshoppers were actually in the lead, but Macclesfield scored a try and that was it. I mean, it was a very close game. Low in quality, but very close.
So what would you say? You speak to anyone after the game?
Spoke to Alex Kay, the coach of Grasshoppers, and he was proud of his team because Macclesfield are one of the top sides in the division. Yeah, he was proud but disappointed because, as I say, last 10 minutes they're in the lead. They just threw it away right at the end.
So what's he hoping for the rest of the season?
To be honest, it was probably just consolidating in the division. They had a big match a few weeks ago against Exeter. They lost that 115-0, so that was the big match of the season. So it's very much just playing the rest of the season out. Promotion and relegation is not really an issue, just mid-table consolidation.
Thanks, guys. That's all for now. That is our first podcast, so we're hopefully going to get better over the coming weeks, but stay tuned. Next Monday we'll have another roundup of Preston's sporting weekend. Thanks very much. Don't forget to log on to our website, ukjournalism.co.uk/the match for all the rest of Preston sports news. Thanks very much. Bye-bye for now.